Herman Thomas, he is an ex-Alabama judge. He has been accused of trading sex for leniency. Apparently, he's been spanking inmates with paddles in exchange for leniency in their sentences. He's also been, having butt sex with them.
Well, that's another part of it, right? Okay. Now, see, here's how it works, okay? He warmed up a little bit first. At first, he was like, you know what? Come in here for a little light spanking, okay? This is going to be your punishment. And the guy thinks, well, this is kind of a bizarre punishment, right? But, okay, hey, if I don't have to serve prison time, I might go for it. Oh, geez and Lord mercy. Okay, so then he brings the fella in, and he says, all right, now I'm going to spank you a little bit, but I need you to remove your trousers, okay? Now, these are all allegations. Keep that in mind, okay?
Right.
He vehemently denies it. We'll get to that part in a second. And then, so he has him lower the trousers, and he's like, okay, bend over the desk, and the paddle. Okay. Wasikte, 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 okay? And then he gets a little encouraged. Now, I'm embellishing the details a little bit here, but the substance of it is exactly right, okay? He gets a little encouraged, right? He's like, what if I took it to another level, right? What if I, had a little oral thing here going on, right? Okay, so then he goes in that direction. These are all males, by the way.
Right.
And then he's like, all right, well, it's time for sodomy.
Right, yes.
So he goes in the butt direction.
Yes.
And so all for leniency, et cetera. And then he got cute and decided that he's going to get involved in other judges' cases. Like he sees a guy like down the hall, and he's like, oh, that's a cutie. Paddle time. Can I? I'll take that case, right? So that didn't work out. That started to get people curious.
This guy was so not savvy. Okay? No, he wasn't. He wasn't savvy at all. Because the reason why authorities started to become suspicious is because he changed the sentence for his cousin. So another judge was handling a case that his cousin was involved in. His cousin was sentenced to X number of years in jail. And, this guy came in and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to lower that sentence.
Yeah, but without even asking the judge. He's like, yeah, I just lowered the sentence. Right. And then he's lowering the sentence of all these guys. And they're like, what the hell? Why is he lowering the sentence of these guys? They're not even his cousin. And then they see the paddle, and they're like, oh, no.
Right. So 15 inmates, up to 15 inmates, came and testified against this guy, right? And there has been some proof. For instance, there was seminal fluid on the carpet of his office.
Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, let's wrap that one up. Okay. Now, look, he vehemently denies it, and he says this is a
racial thing,
racial issue, and that the white power infrastructure in Alabama never liked him. They thought he was uppity, and they're out to get him, and it's, we've got a high-tech lynching, et cetera, and the NAACP in Alabama is supporting him. And this guy was a really, up-and-coming judge. Bill Clinton thought about even nominating him for a higher position, but then the lawyers group came out against it. The ABA came out against it for reasons that are unrelated to this. So he was doing really well until he ran into this kind of trouble, and he's got a lot of prominent backers in Alabama saying, hell no, no way this guy would have done this, right? But the fluid on the carpet, that's tough. And then look, 15 guys saying, yeah, he did X, Y, and Z to me.
And all 15 guys are black, by the way.
Yes, and so it's not like they grabbed a bunch of white inmates to testify against this guy, right? And now look, of course, understand the bias of everybody. You have taken into account they might have their sentences lowered again for cooperating. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a possibility. But to get 15 guys on the record saying, yeah, he paddled me and he paddled me hard, or he went in this direction or that direction, that's a pretty hefty conspiracy. So...
Yeah, and apparently when they were testifying, they gave very, very detailed information about their encounters.
Right, don't get carried away. I know what you're thinking. No, about his office, for example.
Right.
Like, how would they know the inside of his office? And they explained it's this, that, the other thing. So they knew details that led you to believe that they knew about this guy and about his office, etc. Now he says, and this is where it gets really fishy, and this is why I ruled against him. He says, no, I brought them into my office to mentor them. Come on. Okay.
Oh, he mentored them.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Mentor? I don't know. Tore through those men? No, that's wrong. That's totally wrong.
That's so wrong.
Okay, all right. But look, you're not picking out random guys to mentor them for like 15 minutes at a time in your office and then cutting down their sentences after that mentoring session. No, I'm calling bullshit on that. So this guy was into paddling. And he's
by
in a
the
world
way,
of trouble now, of course.
What enjoyment did he get out of like spanking them with a paddle?
Oh, I'm sure some guys are into that. Are you?
Just that's it. Just spank them with the
Of
paddle, and
course,
that's
of
all.
course, of course.
Man, I guess I'm super naive because I think that's weird. And
Well, a lot of people think it's weird, but for them, they love it, right? And now, let me address, before this is over, let me address the question of why was he so brazen? You know, going around cutting sentences left and right, including for his cousin, right? By the way, he didn't paddle his cousin. That was just a favor, okay? The reason is, my guess is that once you have the power and you exercise it and nobody does anything about it, you get emboldened. You're like, I paddled the guy first and nothing came of it, right? Then I had, you know, other forms of sex with the guys and nothing came of it. Then I did it for years and years and nothing came of it, other than him, I guess. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. All right, anyway, and then he thinks, well, I can get away with anything. Yeah, so yeah, because I'm the judge, baby. Cousin, you get your sentence reduced. Who's next? Right? And then you get, that's why they get such a big head. That's why they get caught. That's why they get careless, because, you know, the power rushes through them and they think they're never going to get caught because they got away with all that stuff in the past. But, you know, sometimes they do get caught. And now the world doesn't look quite as bright. Oh, and by the way, if he goes to jail, oh boy, somebody's also going to have a paddle, but it ain't going to be him.
Watch a live show 24/7 at theyoungturks.com.